Dosham! What's up, peoples of IRC and elsewhere? This is Undefeatable Twilight. Happy New Year to those of you in everywhere, I guess. It's here, 2019. Well, technically for me, it's still 2018 because of the whole the day doesn't end until I go to bed thing. So by my calendar, it's still the 31st, but by everyone else's calendar, it's the 1st of January 2019. So Happy New Year, anyway. I decided to start the year off with a video, and since I wanted to do this for so long and have been putting it off for so long, I finally have decided to do a random facts about me video. So this is 40 random facts about me. Here we go. And yes, I am doing this off a script. So number one, I was born in Hingingbrook Hospital in Huntingdon, which is in Cambridgeshire, which is in England. It's kind of southeast-ish. Why did my computer beep just then? I don't know. I'm still recording apparently, so let's keep going. So yeah, it's kind of southeast-ish. East Anglia is the name of the region, but that's where I was born. I grew up in Churchdown, which is a small village near the town of Gloucester, which is in Gloucestershire, also in England. And then I've been so many places after that. I've lived in Bromsgrove, which is near Birmingham. I've lived in Finland for 3 years. I lived in 2 different places in Finland, both in Vantaa, which is near Helsinki, and I also briefly lived on campus when I went to university in Nottingham, and I feel like I'm missing one, but yeah, because I lived in in Peterborough, of course. I lived in Peterborough for a while as well, and then I moved up to Lancaster, where I live now. So there you go. Schooling, education. I went and starting to sound like a CV, isn't it? Yeah, I went to St. Mary's Roman Catholic Primary School. I was raised Catholic. Currently, my religious beliefs waver slightly on the edge of none at all. I style myself as an agnostic theist, which means I do believe in gods, I just don't worship them. But, you know, I kind of also figure that it's I see myself as kind of pantheistic, sort of. But yeah, I was raised Catholic, so I went to Catholic primary school, and I often had to go to church every Sunday as well, which was fun. Not really. Anyways, yes, after that I went to Pate's grammar school in grammar school. If I don't know if they do these in America, grammar schools are like kind of posh, prestigious, high class schools, and yeah, I know it kind of sounds like I'm bragging when I say that, but it wasn't. I didn't choose to. I did kind of, but it's like these are the schools you can go to. Which one do you want to go to? And I'm like, this one. And so I went to Pate's. So Pate's Grammar School is in Cheltenham. I went through the whole secondary school, including sixth form, because in the UK, again, I don't know if this is the same in America or different, you go through the first 6 years are in primary school, what America is roughly equivalent to American grade school, I think, and then you go to secondary school, which is equivalent to American high school. For your year 7 is your starting year in secondary school, and then you can either leave when you get to year 11, so like secondary school education, I have to count on my fingers to see how many years it is. Yeah, 4. So 4 years at secondary school, and then you can leave to go to college, or you can stay on in school and do years 12 and 13, which is called sixth form. So it's really up to you. Some people leave and go to college. It's kind of like, it's like vocational college in America, I guess. It's like if you have a specific job in mind and you know what you need to study for, then you go to college and you study for that. If not, then you stay on at sixth form and you just do a bunch of A levels, which you pick depending on what you're good at, basically, what you like. So yeah, I went through all school, sixth form, got my GCSEs, got my A levels, I got reasonably high scores in all of them, I guess. So there you go. Then I went to Nottingham University because I couldn't get into my first choice because I didn't have good enough exam results. So I went to Nottingham, the University of Nottingham, which is one of two universities in Nottingham. I forget what the other one's called, where I studied French and beginner's Russian, and then I dropped out after about a year because I just really did not like it there at all. Let me talk a little bit. I'll try not to rant too long about this, but let me talk a little bit about why I didn't like university. So I lived on campus, right? Like I said before, I barely got any sleep there. That's the main problem, because at the moment my at the time girlfriend and I were going through kind of a rough patch, so I would kind of end up staying up late most nights talking to her, and then the smoke alarm in my dormitory would keep going off at like 4 a.m, so I would have to get up, go outside and stand outside in the freezing night air while the fire team came to, assess the situation and stuff, and I would have to stand there for like an hour or so with everyone else, just freezing my ass off because I'm only in like a t-shirt, because I have to go out when the fire alarm goes off. You got to go out straight away, so you don't have time to put your coat on or anything like that. So I'm just out there in my t-shirt and shorts, freezing to death. Stay there for about an hour, and then I go back inside, and it's like 6 a.m. and I have to get up at 7 a.m. So I barely got any sleep, and even when that didn't happen, there were like people outside the dorms just being really loud and noisy all the time. So yeah, and because of that, I ended up oversleeping. I ended up missing classes. So I ended up getting really behind with my work. So I thought enough is enough. I hate this. I'm getting out of here. So I dropped out of that. Then I moved back to. I'm trying to remember that. This is so long ago. Yes. Then I moved to Peterborough, where I lived with my parents for a while, and I also went to Anglia Ruskin University in Peterborough, where I studied business management, and again I dropped out because I didn't like it. Then I moved, and also because I was going to move to Finland to live with my at the time girlfriend. So I went to Finland to live with her and went to the university in Pasila, which is a suburb of Helsinki. I can't remember what it's called now, but it was a business college basically. So I studied business again and stuff, and I kind of got into it for the most part, but then problems like personal family problems started happening a lot, which caused me to miss a lot of classes. So I ended up getting behind with my work. So, and eventually she and I split up, so I moved back to England. So I never finished any of my university degrees. So yay. And I've basically given up on that now. I don't go to uni anymore. So yes. Next fact, I am a grammar Nazi. I am very much a stickler and a pedant for correct grammar and spelling, punctuation, all that kind of stuff. If I have the opportunity to correct someone's grammar or spelling or punctuation or whatever, then I will. I know I probably make a lot of errors myself, especially when I'm talking, because I ramble and don't really think about what I'm saying until I actually say it. But if it's written, I will do my absolute best to ensure that everything's written, spelled, and punctuated properly, and is good English, because it's a nice language and we shouldn't abuse it. Next, number 6. This is a problem I'm sure you've probably all seen in my videos before. I am the worst at getting my feelings and thoughts out verbally. like, I have no idea how to express my feelings, thoughts, opinions on stuff if I'm just talking. If I'm writing, then it's fine, because I have more time to think about it and more time to think about what I'm actually going to say. But when I'm talking, it's like, I have no idea how to describe this. I have no idea how to convey this feeling that I have about this thing, or this thought, this idea, this opinion. Like, I have no idea how to put it into words, so I end up like just repeating myself and stuttering and hesitating while I try and fail to think of the right word that I want to say to describe what I'm trying to get across. So yeah, I'm terrible at that, honestly, and you'll see that if you watch any of my old videos. You'll see me doing that a lot, just like stumbling, stuttering, and just repeating myself and trying to think, like, how the hell do I say this? And that's why I really should edit my videos. And this might have something to do with the next fact, which is that I was diagnosed with mild Asperger's syndrome when I was younger, when I was in secondary school specifically. I'm not sure whether I fully agree with that diagnosis, because it happened during a time when a lot of people were being diagnosed with AS, so it kind of was a trend diagnosis almost, and I don't think I really fit most of the criteria for AS. I do fit some, like the tendency to be overly pedantic for one. But I think it's just because you're pedantic doesn't mean you have Asperger's syndrome or whatever. You can just be pedantic. Why not? So yeah, I don't really like to call myself. I don't really like to think of myself as having AS. Possibly, maybe I do, but I don't like to use it as kind of a classification for myself. Let's put it that way. So yes, I was diagnosed with it, but that was a long time ago, so who knows. Okay, next, I really, really like sweets. Like, probably way too much. I eat way too many sweets. I really probably should eat less, or none at all. If none at all, that's a bit too extreme. I do like sweets. I do like eating sweets, and I think one of the most dangerous things that ever happened to me was becoming an adult and leaving my parents' house, and being able to live on my own, because then no one is around to stop me just buying loads of sweets and eating them all the time. So I ended up doing exactly that. So yeah, I spend most of my money on sweets, so I really should cut down. I am, like, 2019, I don't usually make New Year's resolutions because I always end up breaking them anyway, but one of the things I'm going to try and do this year is eat more healthily. So less sweets, less fizzy drinks. I'm going to stick to drinking mostly water from now on, only have fizzy drinks as a occasional treat. Less going out for lunch or dinner or whatever, fast food, because I also have a terrible problem with going out for food instead of staying in and eating what we've got in the house. So yeah, less of that, so hopefully I'll save more money and be healthier. Let's keep it in mind. Let's do it. Next is, I really like video games. If you know me at all, you probably know this, because video games are like 90% of my life is taken up by playing video games. I honestly have always loved video games. Ever since I was a kid, I've just been obsessed with them. I like, the one thing that I do most of my day when I don't actually have something I need to be doing is play games. Either that or watch random YouTube videos. So if you come over to my house for whatever reason, you will most likely find me playing a game. You'll see it because our TV is over there and our door is over there. I'm in the living room right now, so the door is there, the TV is there, so you'll come in immediately, you'll see a game on pause probably on the screen. So yeah, I play a lot of games and I really like them. And I also like anime. I'm a huge anime fan. I can't remember when exactly I first got into anime properly. I used to watch it on TV when I was little because they had Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! But I never really understood what anime was or understood the concept of anime back then. It was only after I got I think secondary school, when my then girlfriend, which is different from the one I had when I was at uni, was talking about Dragon Ball Z, which by then I hadn't watched in ages. So I was like, "Whoa, what? Dragon Ball Z? That still exists? People still talk about that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I watched Dragon Ball Z." And then one thing led to another, and I found out that it was Japanese. And there's this whole thing called anime, which comes from Japan, that I've never heard of, and it's strange and wonderful and fascinating. So I started downloading some fan subs, I started watching some anime, and I just got into it. I can't remember what the first anime I watched is now. Honestly, I have no idea. But I like anime. I watch it a lot. I watch it every night. Every night I watch some anime episodes. Sorry, I have a cat on my lap, so if you see me looking down or doing this, I'm just petting her. So look, I'll tilt the camera down so you can see her. There she is. There's my little knight. She likes to sit on my lap, but recently she's been kind of digging her claws into my leg so she doesn't fall off, and obviously that's quite painful for me, so I had to put a pillow on my lap so she doesn't claw my legs to pieces. Anyways, so yes, I like anime. Next, I love quizzes. I am a huge fan of quizzes, both taking and setting them. I just love asking people random questions, having them answer or not answer, or answer correctly or incorrectly or whatever. I love being asked random questions and being able to flaunt my trivia knowledge or complete lack of trivia knowledge usually. I go to a Wednesday. I go to a Tuesday and Wednesday night pub quiz, different ones. Different ones at different pubs. Even the Tuesday night at the White Cross, and then the Wednesday night at the Stonewall Tap. And I have a great time, even though I don't really ever score highly, because we being me and my housemate, that's who we go to the quizzes as. What am I even saying? My housemate and I go to the quizzes together usually, but none of us know anything about current pop culture or trends or what's happening in the news or whatever, or celebrities, so we always do really badly. But we have a good time, and I like it anyway, so it's good. So yeah, I like quizzes. Next, and again, it's kind of related to the last part, but I just love random trivia. I just love learning random facts and telling people random facts. In fact, I have a blog, which is mostly for my personal use, because I don't think anyone else actually reads it. But there's a recurring feature on my blog is called Pointless Trivia, where I just write loads of pointless random facts about a certain topic, and I've got tons of pointless trivia posts about various things. So I'll put a link to my blog in the description, so if anyone's interested for whatever reason, you can go check it out. I'm sure it'll be very educational and fun for you. Next, family, yes. So I had a girlfriend. Well, I had many girlfriends. I married one of them, and then divorced her shortly afterwards because we discovered we didn't actually really like each other that much. And I also have a son, who I had with the most recent, as of this video, and probably as of forever, girlfriend / ex-wife / whatever. So I have a son. His name is Mikael. It's a Finnish version of Michael. Basically, he's 8 years old. He is autistic and non-verbal, but I have met him quite a few times, and he is very bright, very intelligent, very helpful. So yeah, he goes to a special school for children who have learning difficulties or disabilities, and apparently he really likes it there. He lives in Finland, which is where his mother lives. So yeah, he lives with his grandmother, so my ex-wife's mum, basically, because his mum, my ex-wife, is a restaurant manager, so she works full time, so his grandmother takes care of him. He seems happy. I see him occasionally online, and sometimes I get to meet him and to visit him, so it's cool. And at least I know he's doing well. That's all I care about, really. Next one is something I haven't really mentioned before to YouTube or to anyone really that isn't online, and I'm kind of hesitant you might detect a slight reluctance to say this fact, kind of, because I kind of feel like it's a bit embarrassing, but it's this is a facts video, so I'm just gonna put it out there. I like ASMR videos. I do. I listen to them a lot. I still get, I don't know why, but I don't know, I just feel kind of embarrassed about it. It's like something you do, it's something you do in private. I mean, that makes it sound a lot worse than it actually is. If you don't know what ASMR is, look it up. I don't feel like explaining it to you right now. Oh God, look it up and then you can judge me. And no, I'm not going to make one because I don't have a good ASMR voice, trust me. And I just feel so embarrassed. I probably just die. I just probably just crack up laughing or just be like, ah, God, if I even tried to make one of those. So no, I'm not doing it. But I do like them. My favourite is one. I still can't believe I'm even talking about this. My favourite is ASMR Mania, Alicia, because like the strong accents are the biggest trigger for me. So, and she has a very strong Russian accent, so I just really like her videos. But I listen to it a lot. Like if I have nothing else to do and I'm on my own, I need something playing in the background while I'm doing something, and I'll usually put an ASMR video on. So yeah, now you know. So God, no one's gonna watch this video anyway. I don't know why I'm so worried. Anyways, next fact. Scroll down. Okay, I have a strange pronunciation quirk where if a word or name or something comes from a foreign language, and I don't mean is derived from, I mean the word actually itself comes from a foreign language, I will pronounce it like it's pronounced in that foreign language, rather than using the common English pronunciation of it. So for instance, I say karaoke instead of karaoke. Or I pronounce the names of Greek deities like Aphrodite and Athena and Zeus in the original Greek ways, or at least as close as I can manage. So often when I'm talking about foreign things, people have no idea what I'm talking about. Next, I have a cat. Yes, you probably know this already because I just showed you her, and she's been in a few of my other videos. But yes, I have had this little one for God's longer than I can remember now. We got her back when I was living in England, like before I moved to Finland, so before 2011 at the earliest. And she's been with me ever since. She's my cat. She's not my parents' or anyone else's. She's my cat specifically. That's why I brought her with me to Lancaster when I moved up here. She was very good on the trip, by the way. The trip took like 5 hours and I had to carry her around in a carry cage the whole time. She was very good. She's very quiet. She's very patient. She's a very quiet cat. She doesn't meow like ever. Well, very rarely, very occasionally she'll meow. But most of the time she just stays quiet. But she's very affectionate. Like I said, she loves sitting on my lap. It's like every time I sit down, she's like on my lap, just straight away. And if she's not on my lap, then she's sitting up there behind me and looking out the window because she likes to see what's going on outside. She used to be an outdoor cat, but she's an indoor cat now because we live in front of a busy street. So I don't really want to let her out because I think I worried she might get run over or lost or something. So yeah, so I keep her indoors, but she's happy. And I love my little nights. You've probably seen her interrupt my videos a few times, especially the storytime videos. Okay, another random quirk about me is that I have a kind of inverse enjoyment to complaints ratio, where the more I like something, the more I'll complain about it. So you can tell I actually really enjoy something, or I'm really happy or excited about something, if I'm nitpicking and analysing every little flaw and pointing out every little flaw and detail and bad thing. Basically, I sound like I'm making fun of it, but that's just my way of showing appreciation for something. It's weird, I know, but it's just how I am. If I don't like something, I'll probably just usually say nothing about it, or I get really mad at it and start yelling like, "Why the hell is it doing this?" Either way, it can go either way, really. Another kind of related to the last fact, I am absolutely terrible at objectively reviewing something, like critically analysing, pointing out what's good and what's bad. Don't ask me to do that. I cannot do that. I have no idea whether things are good or bad. All I know is whether I like them or not, and sometimes not even then. Like the lowest point on my scale, apart from stuff that's absolutely god awful and just almost literally unwatchable, unplayable, or whatever, is it's okay, it's alright. It's kind of, I never say anything is bad unless, like I said, it's actually so bad that you can not even watch or play or whatever. Like, if so terrible that even a child would watch this and go, "This is awful," then that's bad to me. But anything else, even stuff that people usually don't like Star Wars Episode 1 or any of the other Star Wars prequels, to me, the worst will be, it was alright, it wasn't too bad. So, yeah, I never really find anything bad unless it's supremely bad. And I like most things. I'm very easy to please. I like most things that other people don't. Okay, I need to pause for a second now because I have to very carefully move a cat off my lap so I can go get a drink, because I have been talking for nearly half an hour. Okay, I'm back. It's another advantage with having the pillow on my lap is that when I need to get up, I don't have to kick nights off anymore. I just move her over here, and then she can stay on the pillow. She's still there. She's next to me. She's still comfortable and happy. So everyone wins. Okay, let's continue. Number 19. I host a radio show. I have maybe mentioned it in my videos before. I don't actually remember if I did or not. But it's an online radio show. I host it every week on Monday from 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. It's midnight, come on, Twilight. 12 p.m. to 5 a.m. I don't know how times work. 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Monday. So 5 hours. And I play a huge mix of different things. Mostly I just put my iTunes on shuffle and then just play whatever comes up. So when you listen to me, you get a whole mix smash of different genres and stuff, and it's great, I hope, anyway. I like doing it, it's fun. The setting up of it is really annoying to me because I always put it off and then I have to do everything at the last minute. It takes forever, but doing the actual show is very fun. If you're interested, you can check it out. It's on an online station called Rendezvous Radio. It's an adult radio show, so I play uncensored music, just fair warning there. I don't play anything too bad usually, but just so you're forewarned, my songs do contain uncensored swearing, so don't let your kids listen to it. See, water and being healthy for once. Or do let your kids listen to it, and it's up to you, whatever you do with your life. I'm not one to judge. Yes, rendezvousradio.ca is the website. I will put a link in the description again, so you can check it out if you want. Next fact, I used to roleplay quite a lot. Actually, I used to be so into roleplay. I don't mean like tabletop, like Dungeons and Dragons kind of rolling dice, stat tables and whatever. Not that kind of roleplaying. This like live journal fantasy online RPing kind of thing, except I didn't do it on live journal. I did it over chat sites. But yeah, I used to be super into that kind of thing. I just loved like diving into that fantasy world and playing as various different characters and exploring and meeting other people and just letting my characters loose and letting them do whatever they want and playing around and having a great time and just basically living in a fictional world and seeing these stories and scenarios and whatever unfold. And I don't do it much anymore. It's occasionally, very occasionally, I will sometimes let one of my characters out to play for a bit, but my characters all still exist in my head. I still keep them in my imagination. They're still alive to me and they still exist, and you know they probably will stay in my head for the most part because I'm a terrible writer and I don't really feel like writing anything. But they're there, and if you start me talking about my characters, I will talk for days on end about my characters. I'm not even kidding. So you know, if you're if you can't sleep one night and you need to go to sleep, just message me and ask me to talk about my characters, because I will just you'll be asleep within seconds, because I'll just talk non-stop about everything to do with my characters, and believe me, there's a lot to do with them. I won't say anything about it now because, or in any video really, because if I make a video about my characters, the video would be like 10 hours long and it would just be me talking non-stop, honestly. So yeah, I have a huge world in my imagination. It's got a lot of things in it. Next, and speaking of having huge worlds in your imagination, I actually live with a self-employed writer, probably a not very well known one yet, but we're keeping our fingers crossed. Hopefully you'll get some more recognition. His name is Angel Wedge, and you can find his books on Amazon under that name, as well as under the name Angel Raymond and Kitty Angel. So 3 different names, same author, because different categories of books. Some are adult fiction, so he releases those under a pen name, so his family doesn't see that he's writing naughty stories. And the Kitty Angel things are for a more specialist interest. I'll just leave it at that and not say any more, because I don't know how much he would be comfortable with me revealing to my audience on YouTube. But yes, he has been writing for a long time, and I help edit his books sometimes. The first book I worked on, I say in massive inverted quotes, is one called Sandpaper Kiss, which is about a cat girl, and it's a great story. I recommend picking it up, and I'm not just saying, trust me, I'm honestly not just saying this because I am an editor for his books. They are genuinely good stories. I've read most of them because I edited them, but I actually genuinely enjoy his stories. They are good, so please consider buying some books. It would help us out a lot, and like I said, they are good. I'm not this is not just an advertisement. I'm not just promoting like, oh, like please buy these books. Like I'm saying that, but I am honestly, this is my genuine opinion. They are good. They are good stories. At least I like them. Like I said, I'm terrible at telling whether something's objectively good, but to me they are very good, entertaining stories. So, you know, consider buying some books. It would help us out a lot. I know I keep drinking a lot. I'm talking so much. If I were a better YouTuber, I would edit out the drinking, but I'm not, so I don't. Anyways, moving on. I like My Little Pony. A Friendship is Magic. I'm not ashamed to admit it. My favourite pony is Rainbow Dash. I haven't really watched any of the older gens, and I don't plan to, because I hear they're kind of terrible compared to FIM. But I really like that. I'm kind of behind on episodes though, because there's like loads of seasons I haven't watched yet. I think the last season I watched was season 5. So yeah, there's still a lot I haven't seen. So I really need to catch up on that, but I do like MLP. And no, I didn't get the name Twilight from that show. I had it for long before that. It was basically, it's a name I made up that came from a name I used online. That's the very short version of the extremely long and boring story of how I got the name Twilight. So another kind of embarrassing thing to admit for me, but I think most people already know this anyway, I'm very cat-like. Like, I genuinely consider myself a cat girl. I don't think of myself as a furry, per se, though I guess to some people I probably kind of am, but to me I don't consider myself one, because I think furries are, they're like straight up anthropomorphic. Like, they have fur all over their entire body, they have, you know, animal like features, etc. Whereas a cat girl for me is just like a human looking girl but with cat ears and a tail. So that's how I depict myself online. But even in real life I'm very cat-like in my behaviour, mannerisms and personality. I'm lazy, I like treats, I like to be spoiled, I like to play, and I often will just randomly make cat noises, like in real life, just without even thinking about it, just naturally. I'll be like, "Rah," or something, or like, "Meow," you know, like just randomly making those kind of noises. I do it not too loud, so no one really notices, I think. And I'm just like, "Meow," like that when I'm just not sure what to do. But again, with regards to real life, I'm actually very passive and shy in real life, so I probably won't talk to you unless you talk to me first. But I'm also very curious, again, cat. So I'm probably going to be secretly wishing you will talk to me, even though I won't actually initiate the conversation. But you know, I'll be sitting there watching you curiously from the other side of the room, and just watching, just seeing what you do, because that people make me curious. Other people just fascinate me. I love people watching. Honestly, I could do it all day. If I ever get like a good vantage point where I can watch people but they can't see me, I'll just sit there and watch them for ages, because I just love to watch people. I don't know why. I don't know why I find it so fascinating. I just do. It's very fun to me. Oh my god, there's so much to go through. I didn't expect this video to be so long. It's already like almost 38 minutes long, and I'm still like just over half of my facts to go. I've done just over half of my facts, and I'm kind of it's destroying my vocal folds as well. Anyways, let's keep going. I probably should have split this video up really, but yeah, too late to worry about that now. So next fact is I'm a linguophile. You might have guessed this from the whole pronunciation thing, but I just love everything about foreign languages. They're just the best to me. I studied French and German at school at GCSE. I did French and German at GCSE, and then I did French for A level, and I also did French at university for a bit, like I said before. And I know when I say this it's going to sound like I'm bragging, but I'm not, trust me. I'm just saying what actually happened. I did my French and German GCSE exams a year early, because they had, at my school, they had a fast track option for, again, I know this is really going to sound like I'm bragging, but honestly I'm not, for students that were good at those subjects. And it's not, and let me get the one thing straight, I did not ask to be put on the fast track. They offered me to be put on the fast track, so it wasn't like I went to them and went like, oh, I'm so good at that French and German, please let me go on the fast track. No, I didn't. They came to me and said, look, Twilight, so they didn't call me that, but you know, look, Twilight, we know you're really good at French and German or whatever, would you like to go on the fast track and do it a year early? And I was like, okay, sure, why not? And I did it, and I got an A star in French, which is the highest grade you can get at secondary school. Again, not bragging, just stating the facts, trust me. I know it sounds like I'm bragging, but I'm not really, honestly. And I got an A for German. and then I got a B for my French A level. So yeah, I have also learned a bit of Spanish and a bit of Mandarin Chinese, a bit of Russian when I was at university, and a bit of Finnish when I was at university in Finland. I've forgotten most of it by now, but I really just do love languages, and I really would like to study Finnish again because I want to be able to talk with my friends and relatives, I guess, in Finland in their native language. It would be very nice. But nowhere around here teaches Finnish. It's annoying. And again, related to the last fact, translation mistakes are some of the most fascinating and entertaining things to me. I'll read about translation mistakes non-stop, like in video games, anime, anything really, especially games that have been translated into English from another language. I'm actually pretty good at spotting like where there was a translation error just from reading the dialogue or looking at things. Now I can usually tell, oh, that wasn't translated right, or oh, I think someone didn't get that one exactly right. So yeah, I got pretty good at just actually spotting translation errors, but I just really find them fascinating and very funny too sometimes. Next fact is I'm a troper and an avid reader of TV tropes. My name is Twilight Lord over there. I usually go by Twilight L everywhere else, but Twilight Lord is my name on TV tropes. My favourite trope is blind idiot translation because I like translation mistakes. So my aspirations for careers when I was little, like a child, even though I kind of still am a child probably, but like when I was 5 years old, roughly thereabouts, I wanted to be a policeman when I grew up, as did many other kids my age. When I was in secondary school and actually thought more seriously about my future ambitions, I wanted to be a lawyer, because I heard they make a ton of money and because people recommended it to me as a career that might well suit me, so I thought, okay, sure, I'll go for it. Then I discovered that learning about law and business was incredibly boring, so I ditched those plans. And then I after I dropped out of university for the third time and gave up going there, I had sort of vague aspirations of being a video game developer. So I considered learning programming, and I actually did look for courses at the adult college in Lancaster, but I couldn't find anything that really appealed to me, so I didn't really pursue that. So now my goals, basically, I have vague goals of being a famous YouTuber, which I know is probably never going to happen, but hey, a girl can have dreams, right? Anyways, next fact is another kind of weird one. I sometimes talk in third person, like not always, very rarely actually, but sometimes I will. Like if I'm usually more online than I do in real life, although I will very occasionally do it in real life as well. So like basically when I'm going to bed, for example, and I'm saying goodnight to everyone online, I'll say something like, okay, time for Twilight to go to bed now, instead of like time for me to go to bed now, or okay, Twilight's going to bed now, or Twilight's going to sleep now, something like that. Yeah, so I don't do it often, but sometimes I do. I don't know why. I don't really have any specific motivation for it. Sometimes it just feels natural to do it, and that's all I can say really. Next, again, kind of related. I often, especially in real life, I often will talk to myself like I'm a completely separate person, often scolding myself for something. Like and again, this goes back to the earlier thing I said about going out for dinner so often. Like if I'm out for a walk and I'm like going past McDonald's, which I always do on the way home, I go past McDonald's in Lancaster, thinking, oh, I'm feeling a bit hungry, should I go into McDonald's? And no, Twilight, no, going to McDonald's today, you need to save your money. And I'll actually say that out loud, verbatim, to myself, It'd be like Twilight. Twilight, you have very little money. You can't afford to go to McDonald's now. Just go home and you can have whatever is left in the fridge, or just, have a microwave meal or something. So yeah, I'm Hollywood schizophrenic, I guess. I treat myself as a completely separate person sometimes, and that's unrelated to the talking in third person. When I talk in third person, I'm still talking about myself. Really, it's still I'm doing this thing. I'm not considering myself a separate person there. I'm just talking in the third person. Next, I am obsessed with cheese. I've mentioned this in my videos before, but I'm absolutely I put cheese on everything. Like, give me some cooked food and I will put cheese on it. Like, that's the first thing I'll do. Especially if it's pasta, or curry, or anything like that. Fajitas, burritos, etc. Just anything really, as long as it's not, it's not all. I don't put cheese on everything. Like, I don't put it on cereal. That would just be new. I don't want to try that. Or chocolate or whatever. I actually have had cheese with chocolate. It's actually pretty nice. I'm not helping my case, am I? But yeah, I put cheese on a lot of things. I like cheese. My favourite drink is Dr. Pepper, but I get headaches if I have too much caffeine, so I usually only have it as an occasional treat. Other than that, I mostly drink water or lemonade. If I go out for dinner, which again I try not to do so much, but if I go to Wetherspoons or something, when I go to Wetherspoons, which I do every week, I have Pepsi Max there, because that's like my weekly caffeine allowance. I let myself have a glass of Pepsi Max once a week. But if I go to McDonald's or whatever, or if I go to Wetherspoons on any day other than that, I'll usually just have lemonade to drink. But at home, I just drink water. I used to drink Fanta Fruit Twist Zero, but because I have to look after my voice now and pay attention to what I drink, I'm sticking with water. So I have to get used to drinking water again. Speaking of favourites, video games. It's kind of hard to pin down what my favourite game is, because there's so many I like. But some of the highlights are Kingdom Hearts 2. I love the entire Kingdom Hearts series, but 2 is and probably will be my absolute favourite. I really want to get a PS4 so I can get Kingdom Hearts 3 when it comes out. I also like Personas 3, 4 and 5. I would love to play Persona 1 and 2 if I ever get the chance. What else did I say? The World Ends With You, one of my absolute favourite DS games. I always say if you have a DS, you should definitely get The World Ends With You. It's a great game with an amazing soundtrack. And also Sonic. I like a lot of Sonic games. I like the old ones and the new ones. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is probably is part of my favourite classic Sonic game, but I also really like Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations are two of my favourites modern era Sonic games. But I played them all, I like them all. Well, I haven't played them all actually. I haven't played Sonic 06, I haven't played Sonic Boom, and there's a few others. I haven't played Sonic Mania or Sonic Forces yet, but I really want to. Yeah, I like Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2. I just like Sonic. I like, simple as that really. I like games. And there are a lot of games I like. The very first video game I ever owned was The Lion King on the Sega Mega Drive, or Sega Genesis if you're living in America. And it's a great game. I never actually finished it when I was little, because I could never get past the gorilla boss in the Hakuna Matata level, so I never actually saw the ending. But I still liked it, I still played it a lot. Then I got Sonic 3, and then that just kicked off my whole huge obsession with Sonic. And it was downhill ever since. My favourite anime is Black Rock Shooter, which is a not very well known, I guess, not as well known as most of the mainstream anime. I think a lot of people still watch it and enjoy it. It's like it's about girls with serious emotional issues who have other selves to fight each other in a It sounds terrible. It's one of those shows that sounds terrible when you describe it, but it's so good. It's got great plot and good characters and loads of really awesome fight scenes. I swear, the fight scenes in this anime are some of the best fight scenes I've ever seen in anime ever. So if you like good fight scenes, then go watch Black Rock Shooter, and you'll also get a great plot into the bargain. So yeah, I also like a lot of other mainstream anime like One Piece, Naruto. I like the Persona anime, all of them, the Persona 3 movies, the Persona 4 anime, the Persona 4 Golden anime, and the Persona 5 anime, and I'm really looking forward to Dark Sun, which is the special movie conclusion of the Persona 5 anime. And various others. Sengen Toppa Gurren Lagann is another one of my favourites, and Mahou Shoujo Lyrical Nanoha, Azumanga Daioh, Lucky Star. I'm thinking random anime I like right now, and a lot of others. I can't think of any specific ones right now, but there's a lot of anime I like. And I'm also a Tokusatsu fan, you know, Japanese live action transforming superhero shows. I watched Power Rangers, like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, when I was little, back when it was still on TV. Actually, the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers show. Again, back when I had no idea that these things had come from Japan, or, well, MMPR is an American made adaptation of a Japanese show, so it's not like the Japanese show dubbed or translated into English. It's like they just take the costumes and monsters and stuff from the Japanese show and then use them to create their own separate plot. So Kyoryu Sentai Zyuranger became Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. But I started watching Super Sentai, which is the Japanese franchise that Power Rangers is based on. And then I got super, no pun intended, into Kamen Rider. Again, I watched Masked Rider, which was the first and, well, actually first of two attempts to adapt a Kamen Rider series for an American audience, which it was incredibly loosely based on Kamen Rider Black RX, and I watched that again when I was a kid around the same time I watched Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I don't remember a lot about it now, but yeah, the other thing they tried to do was adapt Kamen Rider Yuki as Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, and apparently that kind of failed. But yeah, I got super into Kamen Rider. I started off watching Decade, and then I just jumped around watching loads of Rider shows out of order because I'm an idiot like that. My favourite is X-Aid because it's a Rider based on video games. Why would I not like it? And it's actually a pretty good show. It actually has quite a surprisingly dark and serious plot for a show that's whose Rider is based on video games. It's more like the video games don't really affect the story much, but they do kind of, but in quite clever ways. If you're into that kind of thing and you haven't seen X-Aid yet, I recommend checking it out. It's actually a really good show, and they do. The plot does get surprisingly dark and serious and mature as the show goes on. It's kind of like Gaim in that sense. It starts off kind of silly and then gets like really dark and serious. And it's one of those shows where it's like the concept is like sounds ridiculously silly, and it starts off like that, and you know the concept never really goes away, but the show just gets gradually shifts to a more serious and dark tone so seamlessly that you basically just start taking the silly concept for granted as just something that exists in the show without really noticing and you stop noticing really how ridiculous it is because it's just integrated into the show's plot and whatever, so it just becomes like a normal thing. Like you stop paying attention to it and start paying attention to, oh, people are dying now or something. And it's the same deal with the fruit in Gaim or the video games in X-Aid. It's like they're still there, but you don't pay so much attention to them because they just become sort of part of the whole experience. Next fact is I'm part Irish. I mentioned this in my How Irish Are You video, but yeah, my paternal grandmother, so my dad's mum, who died before I was born, was Irish, and maybe my paternal grandfather was too, I don't know, I should probably look up my family history at some point. My last name, my actual proper real last name is McManus, which is an Irish surname, so yeah, I've got Irish in me. Not much, but I have some. The next one, my computer fan is going really loud right now. So there are only 2 more facts to go. The penultimate fact is I get a weird satisfaction from automatic things. I can't really explain why or how or whatever. I just like when I can do something like just press a button and then have a machine do something for me. It gives me some kind of weird satisfaction. I hesitate to use the word pleasure because when you say pleasure, people always think you mean sexual pleasure. No, it's not like that. I don't get off to it. It's just I like it, and that's all I can say, really. It's like when you're a kid and you go in a lift or an elevator, if you prefer, and it's exciting. It's like, oh yeah, you get to ride in a cool machine or whatever. You press a button, and it just goes, and it takes you up to where you want to go. I still feel like that when I ride lifts. Like, I'm 29, I'm going to be 30 in March, and I still get that kind of childish enjoyment out of riding lifts. Like, I go into the lift, I press the button, and I'm like, wee. It's like that. Everything about automatic things, just, I don't know why, I just really, really like it. It might just be something to do with me being lazy and just liking to have other people or things do things for me, but it's beyond that. It's not just like convenience, it's actually I get like a nice feeling when I do it. Like I don't drink coffee, but Angel does, and whenever we go to Wetherspoons, he'll be busy writing, so it'll be up to me to get the drinks and stuff, and I really like using the coffee machine because they have free coffee refills at Wetherspoons. So I just go up to the coffee machine, just press the button, and I'm just watching, like, so good as I watch the machine pour coffee for me. Well, for Angel really, but I like automatic stuff like that. I just do. I don't know why. I just do. It's one of my many strange aspects. And last fact for this incredibly long video is that I have a rule that whenever I start playing a new video game, I have to finish that game before I start playing another game. Finish here is defined as completing the story mode. Depending on what the game is and how much I like it, I probably will go for all the optional stuff as well, but that is not a requirement for me. So basically, if I'm playing a game that's more like an open world sandbox game or whatever, or a game where, you know, the story mode is just a small part of it, then I will consider the game complete when I complete the story mode, even if there's like a ton of optional stuff still to do, because I used to have a really bad problem with not finishing games. Like, I would start a game, get like halfway through it, then get bored and want to play something else. So I decided it's like personal rule from now on, whenever I start a new game, if I start replaying a game that I've already beaten, then this rule doesn't exist. I can play that and stop it whenever I want. But if I start playing a new game that I've never played before, I have to finish it. I have to get through the story at least before I start any other games or before I buy any other games. So there you go. So, and before I play I'm not allowed to play any other games until I finish that one. That's another part of it. So yes, so that's all. Thank you for putting up with me for an hour if you watched this long. As always, remember to like, comment, share and subscribe, and if you are subscribed, be sure to ding that notification bell so you know when I make a new video, because I can make it whenever I feel like it. Thanks to my patron, Angel, who I have already mentioned many times in this video. If you want to support me on Patreon, feel free, the link's in the description. If you want to buy some of Angel's books, also feel free to do that. The link to that is in the description as well. and have a great time. I'll see you all on Wednesday for another storytime video. Also, yes, I need to apologise for not doing a storytime video last week. I went away to Peterborough to visit my family for Christmas, and I took my microphone with me so I could record a video, but I forgot to take my book with me. So, anyways, so yes, there will be a storytime video coming up on Wednesday as usual. So I'll see you then. Love and peace. I keep going to tap the screen to stop the videos. I'm so used to doing it on a phone. I'm gonna have to get used to doing it on the computer now. I have to use the mouse to click the stop button.